What's up, guys? Eric Prey, Focus Fishing Guide Service, Table Rock Fishing Intel. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Wednesday, May the 5th. Kind of a cluster this week, I guess would be the best way to put it. Wound up not fishing yesterday. Canceled because of the rain. Probably shouldn't have. It was cold, it was rainy, it was wet, but we probably could have fished. That's on me. Then went and fished this morning and forgot the camera equipment. So wound up shooting this afternoon in my garage, as you can see. But we have been catching fish. The bite's been pretty good. Things are definitely changing. Fish are definitely moving, and we are certainly catching a lot more fish than we were, say, 2-3 weeks ago. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 919.3 as of today. Still got a little bit of water coming in from the rain yesterday. Core has got gates and generators running on Table Rock. They've got gates open on Beaver, and they have got generators running on Bull. Probably not going to see the lake come down. Oh, I haven't looked at their forecast, but I would say we're probably not going to see us get below 917, which is our normal summertime pool, until after, probably till after we kick into the summertime pool in June. So we'll probably see them drop it another couple of feet. Call it good. I know we got some rain coming in next week, so we'll see what happens there. Water temperature, we have warmed up quite a bit, even with these colder temperatures the last couple of days and the colder rain yesterday. I'm still seeing low 60s. Low to mid 60s all over the lake. I know a couple of days ago we were starting to see some upper 60s, some 67, 68s. Pretty much all over the lake. You're seeing 62 to about 66, 67. We got some warm days coming up and some sunny days coming up, so it wouldn't surprise me to see temperatures eking up close to 70 if you've got some color in the water in the afternoon on some of those other days. Catching fish, bites changing a little bit. Fish are still in different phases of the spawn. Best way to stay on top of it, of course, join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, get your daily reports, get your weekly reports, get your feature videos, get your maps. All that information helps you to track down those fish, figure out where they are, what they're doing, saves you time when you're going to the water, gives you a little bit of a leg up if you're fishing a derby against your competition. But if you're coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake. Lower end is really turned on the last couple of weeks. Kind of surprising. You know, we've been bemoaning the lower end all spring long, how tough it's been. It's actually been much better the last 2 weeks. A lot of big smallmouth coming out of the lower end all of a sudden. I know a lot of guys that fished the Cops for Kids yesterday stayed on the lower end, concentrated on smallmouth, and there were some big old smallmouth laid in yesterday. As far as the bite's concerned, basically catching them on a couple of different things. Yeah, there are fish on beds down there. It's starting to thin out a little bit. You can still go sight fishing down there if you want to. Biggest thing that's going on, though, they are starting to transition, seeing a lot more fish on gravel and moving towards the main lake than we have up until now. Bites that are working, baits that are working. Of course, Kitech is working the Swing Impact 2.8 on either the Jewel Gem Shad 2.0 or whatever jig head you like to throw. I like the 2.0 because of the way it matches up. It's 1/8 of an ounce, enables you to work that bait a little bit better, a little bit higher in the water column. Most of the fish have been suspended. Most of them have been, I've been keeping the boat around 20, casting towards the bank, and it seems like most of the bites are coming anywhere from about 7 to about 15 foot deep overall depth, with the fish only down about 5 or 6 foot deep. Especially on cloudy days or windy days, they tend to be up in the water column a little bit more, so we're really not scrubbing it that much. Other bite that's working down there is dragging the bottom, same spots, gravel or gravel mixed with rock points. Catching them on a Jewel Pee-wee football jig is probably the best bait, and either Bass Whacker or Table Rock Secret have been the two really good colors. Hail Mary's been pretty good as well. Catching those fish on the bottom, just outside the moss line. The moss is starting to break up a little bit, but it's still, you know, there's still plenty of moss down there. Weird thing is you'll find areas that have it and areas that don't, so it's just kind of a hunt and peck sort of deal. Seems like the banks, the south banks have less than the north banks, which sort of makes sense because they don't have as much sun on them. But we are catching them anywhere from about, edge of the moss line at about 10 out to about 15 foot. On the Pee-wee football jig, catching them on a squirrel head, starting to catch them on a Ned, and catching them on a tube. So that's your best bets, best two baits, best two patterns for down by the dam. Go up in the Kimberling City area, same thing's working, but you can throw a topwater into that. Why the topwater bite's not been as strong down by the dam, I'm not exactly sure, but we have been catching them on a topwater. Either a spook or a surge shad have been my two best baits. I know some guys are catching them on a plopper as well. And really, you're just looking for shad. You find the shad, especially on a cloudy morning or first thing in the morning, you find the shad popping on the surface. You can usually put a few in the boat with a topwater first thing. Then I've been switching up to either a swim bait, the Kitech 2.8 or 3.3, on the Jewel Gem Shad 2.0. Again, on points. Seems like the fish in the Kimberling City area aren't necessarily as good on the main lake as they are back on the secondary points, but you can catch them both main lake and secondary, gravel, and gravel mixed with rock, so look for them there. And same deal with a peewee football jig, squirrel head, jewel Ned head, or tube. Hit those same areas just outside that moss line, somewhere around 10, 12 foot, out to about 15. Seems to be the key to catch these fish on the bottom if it's sunny and it's calm. Go up into the James. James has got a very good shallow bite going on right now. Most of the fish are shallow all over the lake, but we are catching them really good up the James. The debris field is kind of broken up. There's still, I mean, pay attention when you're running up there. With the amount of current they're running through the lakes, there's a lot of debris that seems to be out towards the middle unless you get a windy day and it gets blown towards the banks. But just pay attention, especially first thing in the morning, for some logs and whatnot floating. But there's no log jam that I've found so far, and I've been up as far as Piney and not really seen any real problems up there. Catch them on a Jewel Pro Spider jig, around laydowns, around some of the flooded bushes. There's definitely a flip and bite up there. If you can find pockets that have got the sawdust in them, I have been catching a few on a frog up there. I've been throwing the Spro bronze eye frog. And I mean, you're not going to load the boat. It's not like you can go out and go, I'm going to go frog fishing all day, but you can catch a few fish and some better fish on some of that sawdust with a bronze eye frog or whatever frog you like to throw. Catch them on a topwater as well, spook, surge shad, whopper, plopper, those sort of things. Just look for the shad, look for the fish busting on the shad, and you can catch them doing that too. Most of the fish up there have been a little bit shallower. Best bite's probably been from the bank out to about 10 foot. Not really having the issues with the moss up there as we're having down lake, so you can fish a little bit shallower. You can catch them on a peewee, a shaky head, Ned rig, whatever you want to throw. But it seems like the flipping bite, if you're looking for some quality fish, has been a lot better up the James than anywhere else. Go up into the White River, spend a lot of time up the White River. Topwater bite, of course, is going on up there as well. Spook, surge shad, whopper, plopper. Just look for those fish busting on shad. Most of them are on main lake or secondary points. You can catch them on a swim bait as well, Kitech 2.8 or 3.3 and the Gem Shad 2.0. Again, these fish are hanging around points where you've got some shad. As long as they're running this much current, I think we're really going to see a lot of fish on these points. So watch for those fish to be on main lake and secondary points. You'll see them on your electronics. You'll see the shad on your electronics. Most of the fish are coming over 10 to about 25 foot deep. Some of them a little bit shallower than that first thing in the morning. Kind of the program I've been running is I throw a topwater early. When the topwater bite slows down, I throw the Kitech on the Jewel Gem Shad and continue to catch some more fish doing that, so keep that in mind. And then the bottom bite with either a peewee football jig, squirrel head, Ned rig, or tube. And those fish, again, are on those secondary points, main lake points, just outside the moss line to a little bit deeper. The moss line in some of the areas up the White has been a little bit worse than it is in other areas of the lake. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but the moss will drive you crazy. Thankfully, it is starting to break up. We get some warmer temperatures and warm that water up, and I really think it's going to break up next week. Most of them are coming from about 15 out to about 20. If you can find those areas where you can throw a little bit shallower, you can catch a little bit shallower, or you can drag a drop shot rig with like a finesse worm or something like that on it to keep your bait up out of that moss, because the moss is kind of bad up in the White River. I'm not exactly sure why it's so much worse up there than it is anywhere else, but you can catch them on a football jig, you can catch them on a swim bait, you can catch them on a fluke, you can catch them on all those baits up there around that moss and not having moss on your line. Guys, we are into May. silly season is about to start. Fished last Saturday and it was kind of crazy. Felt a lot like 4th of July. So just so you know, this weekend we got some rain. It shouldn't be so bad. But if it's sunny, we're going to have plenty of boat traffic. So just prepare yourself for that. The bite is getting much better. We're catching a lot more fish, catching them in a variety of different ways. Topwater bite is just now getting started. I really hope that we have a good topwater bite like we did last year, where we have days where they'll bite it all day long. And that's coming up. These fish are getting done spawning, so the topwater bite's really going to get strong. Best way to stay on top of it, best way to know what's going on, how you can catch them. Join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, and get your daily reports. I mean, we've had, I think every day for the last 2 weeks, we've had at least one report. Multiple days, we've had multiple reports from different parts of the lake. So join Table Rock Fishing Intel, become a pro member, and get that information every day and know before you go. If you're coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743 or hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email or book online. Either way, I get back to you as soon as I can. We'll get hooked up, get on the water, catch some fish, have a good time. Guys, thanks for watching the video. Got a minute? Check out Table Rock Fishing Intel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.